Hi, Ashley here with HeartHookHome.com, and today we are going to learn how to crochet the Tunisian Knitling stitch. This is a great open weave stitch, and I'm using it for this new scarf pattern. So let's learn this together. It's easier than it looks, I promise. In order to crochet the Tunisian knitling stitch, you want to start with a chain that is an even number. So this right here is 10 chains wide. As with most Tunisian crochet stitches, we're going to set it up with a foundation row of Tunisian simple. So we're going to find the second chain from your hook. I'm going to go into that back bar and I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to pull up a loop in each chain all the way to the end of the row. Now that we've got all of our loops on our hook, one for each chain, we're going to start our backward pass. So to do that, chain one. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, all the way to the end of the row. And this is your foundation row of Tunisian simple crochet. For the next row of our Tunisian knitling stitch, we're going to do a Tunisian knit stitch row. And all that means is that we're going into the center of our stitches. So this first one is our outside stitch, so we're not going to touch that one. We're going to go in the center of this stitch here and go straight on through the back side. We're going to do this all the way across. So pull up a loop in the center of each of these stitches all the way across. Oops, I got more than that. More than I needed. On the last outside stitch here, you're going to grab both sides of that V. That's the outside of your stitch. Pull up a loop, and now we're going to do the backward pass as we normally would. So chain one, and pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, all the way to the end of the row. Now that we only have one left on our hook, we're ready to start the difficult row, or it's not really difficult, you just have to pay attention. So you see these first two here that I'm looking at, not the one on the end, but the first two actual stitches. What we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook in both of those, just the front two vertical bars of both of those stitches. Now pull up a loop and then chain one, and that's what makes it the extended simple stitch. Now do in the same two bars that we just used, do that again. Both, pull up a loop, and chain one. We're going to do this all the way across the row. So now find the next two, these two right here, in the front loops only, just like this, the ones that are closest to you. Pull up a loop and chain one. Go back into the same two, pull up a loop, and chain one, all the way to the end of the row. Now when we get over here, we are going to pull up a loop in the outside stitch. We're also going to chain an additional chain because we want it to be the height of these stitches as well. So we're going to go into both sides of that V, of that outside stitch, pull up a loop, and then chain one. And now that is the end of your forward pass of that row. Isn't that pretty? So now we're going to chain one. So effectively it looks like we chained two, but this just chain one to start your return pass, and then do your yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, all the way back to the beginning. Now that we're back to where we started, we're going to do 2 rows of Tunisian knit stitch, which is what we did for the second row down here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go straight through that stitch, not the first one, never going to the first one, it's always the second one here, straight on through to the back side, pull up your loop all the way to the end of the row. When you get over here, make sure you're not going all the way down here. You still want to go into the side of this one here. So pull up your loop. You're going to have a hole here. That's perfectly fine. Once we're done, it'll even out. Let's look at my other piece here. See how we've got these on the sides? But it makes it so where that whole row is the same height across, because if we didn't have that extra chain here, it would pull in on itself and kind of pucker, and we don't want that. So let's finish our Tunisian knit stitch row. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, all the way back to the end. Now we're going to do another Tunisian knit row, exactly what we just did. So you're going to have 2 rows of the Tunisian knit stitch and then 1 row of the decrease extended bit, right? So we'll do this knit stitch row together, and then we'll do another of the fancy stitch rows. It gives it just a great visual appeal. I love it. Is that right? So chain 1, now yarn over and pull through 2 all the way to the end. Now we're ready for that fancy row again. So I'm going to go under the first 2 vertical bars here, pull up a loop, and chain 1. We're going to do that twice in each pair, all the way across. When we get to the end, we're going to go into the side of that stitch, and we're going to do an extended stitch at here as well. So chain 1, and then chain 1 to start the return pass, and yarn over, pull through 2 all the way back to the beginning. And then we would do another 2 rows of Tunisian knit stitch, and then we would do this row again. You can see how when you do the 2 Tunisian extended simple stitch together, which is technically what this is called, you've got these adorable little, they kind of look like tiny little knit stitches, right? These 2 little ones here, but it just creates that beautiful effect. Now, once you go to block your item, it will really open up like this one has. See how this is nice and open stitches? These are where those extended, let me get it positioned here. These are where those extended, those little nubs that we were just talking about, it creates these nice bigger loops. So it's a very airy, very nice, very holey stitch, but it's just got a great texture to it, and I hope you love this stitch as much as I do. I look forward to crocheting with you again soon.